who OpenSpace is, could you give us a brief introduction and a bit about yourself?
Absolutely, Andrew. So OpenSpace is a venture capital fund that was one of the pioneers of the reboot of the Southeast Asian ecosystem in 2013. And the firm was founded by myself and Shane Chesson, my business partner. And today we're entering into our 8th year as a venture capital firm focused on Southeast Asia. We run $425 million over 3 funds. And we've been fortunate. We've invested in some great companies like Gojek, where we were the first institutional investor. We've got a great high-performing, high-growth startup called Kumu in the Philippines doing live streaming. And we also did Bioformiths, which is a health tech startup, which last year received $100 million from SoftBank in funding, just to name a few. We've also done some really good exits, I feel. We did a sale of TradeGecko to Intuit last year. And we IPO'd one of our exciting communications companies called Whisper on the Australian Stock Exchange. So yeah.
Thanks for the intro, Hian. I think for me, in addition to all the things you just mentioned about OpenSpace, one of the things that I think is a key differentiator for you guys is your operating team. You know, your investment in having people on board from a human resources and tech perspective. Can you talk to us a bit about that as well?
Yeah, no. When we first started OpenSpace Ventures, before that, I was an entrepreneur in Southeast Asia. And after that 10-year journey, I really wanted to create a venture capital firm that younger Hian would actually be excited to get an investment from. So one of the things that Shane and I were really, really passionate about and really felt that it would move the needle for our portfolio companies would be to have actually a dedicated in-house expertise in all the critical issues that the startups face. You know, hiring, product market fit, scaling tech architecture, obviously, big data. We felt that, sure, we could have had some external advisors, but to really make a difference, I felt that we needed dedicated internal teams. And I do think that has set us apart with a lot of the other VCs in the region and really provided the support that the founders need to realize the mission and vision, because the scene nowadays is really, really fast-paced.
Awesome differentiation there, Hian. And what do you think are the biggest challenges right now for startups in Southeast Asia?
Yeah, I think we've gone through a lot of challenges in ASEAN from the seed financing scene in 2013. They used to call it the Series A crunch in 2015, and then we had the Series B crunch in 2017. But I would say, by and large, I think that a lot of those funding issues have pretty much been solved. Now that we've seen the rise of Southeast Asia as a destination for both talent and capital in the region, so I do think that the region is poised for the prime time. However, I would say that the one thing that has stayed very consistent in terms of something that has been a challenge for the ecosystem is the diverse nature of the region. You know, Andrew, we've got so many different countries, so many different cultures. Scaling up from one country to another in ASEAN is challenging. And that's why, for us, we feel that we need just under 30 people across 5 offices in each and every one of those countries. We're proud to say we have one of the most diverse teams, 8 nationalities, I think about 11 languages we speak, and they come from each and every one of the regions that we're focused on. So if you add that to the operational capability that I was talking about, I think you really have a very powerful synergy that allows OpenSpace Ventures to really provide business development, funding, technical capabilities across the whole of Southeast Asia. Yeah. And we do that, and we work with our entrepreneurs day in, day out, every single day.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you talk to us a bit more about the diversity? Because I know you've got teams and some characters and people in different countries. Like, was that deliberate by design at the start of your firm, or did you just build it out over time?
Yeah,
like,
no,
tell us more.
It's pretty much baked in from day one. It was very deliberate. It's so deliberate that we even enshrine it in the name of the firm, OpenSpace. You know, we feel that OpenSpace means to have open ideas, you know, open to new things, and what we practice is what we call active intelligence, you know, the ability to pick up new trends, really spot things that are very unique. And to do that, I think diversity has to be baked right into the core of the firm, right from the very beginning.
Yeah, great. So let's jump into it. Could we talk about some examples where AWS Activate has helped your portfolio companies?
Yeah, the AWS Activate program has really helped a lot of our portfolio companies, especially in the early days when the tech budgets are very tight. So I'm proud to say that I want to think about maybe 90% of all our portfolio companies actually have used the AWS Activate program. Specifically, we've got La Bonito and Igloo, which leverage the startup migration program that AWS has. And then Validus Capital and Halodoc actually had executive coverage from the AWS ASEAN leaders and was featured in a AWS global podcast. So those are just a few things we're very thankful that the AWS has done for the ecosystem as well as our portfolio companies.
Yeah, it's really good to hear how our programs have helped your portfolio companies. Yeah. So could we keep going and let's talk about some of the ways that AWS has helped your portfolio companies from a technical perspective?
Yeah, that's a good point. Where do I begin? For example, I do feel that AWS conducted a lot of workshops for our companies last year. And I think what was really, really helpful was that after the workshops, you guys followed up with one-on-one deep dive conversations with individual CTOs to solve those critical issues. Andrew, the team just really want to thank you guys for making it happen. We had, for example, our Thai food tech startup, FreshCat, create a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy. We had Halodoc CTO, I was just talking to him the other day, where he said, he used to spend so much time monitoring all those services. And once he migrated to AWS, it was just a click and deploy. And he felt so confident about his systems. They were so robust and stable. And to me, that's so critical because that's the minimum requirement. The minimum requirement when you're scaling up your startup is your services don't go down. After we give our companies $15 to $20 million, a lot of things change. The architecture has to change. The services have to change. Halodoc transformed their very monolithic architecture to microservices. We had 3 other companies benefit from POCs on AI and ML services. I think that for young startups, that could only have been achieved if we leverage the technical expertise of your team. And you were holding our hands from day one. So really want to thank you for that. So we've got some really happy customers, really.
Yeah, great. Great insights there, Hian. We do try and instill technical best practices into startups. But as you know, and with your portfolio scaling the way they are, that can be easier said than done. But it's good to hear that we've been able to do that successfully for your portfolio companies.
Absolutely.
So what do you think is some of the most exciting technology areas in ASEAN at the moment?
Well, that's a hard question to answer. And it's hard because there are just so many different opportunities popping up in each and every one of the countries. So I think the best way of thinking about it is that ASEAN has reached critical mass in terms of mobile phone adoption, and more importantly, consumer trust on the internet as a transaction platform. In addition, we are also seeing the rise of software and services, SaaS businesses created focusing on the small and medium-sized businesses of ASEAN. And I think that's very powerful because the productivity gains you get from using SaaS far outweigh the cost of actually paying for these services. Now, we could not have done that if we didn't have the scalability of a backend. And I think AWS just provides that. And for me, I just think it's the sky's the limit for the ecosystem.
Yeah, great. It really is exciting times, isn't it? So what would you like to see organizations like AWS do? What more could we do for the ecosystem to play our part?
I mean, it's a hard question. You guys do so much. Perhaps the one thing I would think about is the following. As companies scale up, they finally get the ability to amass a lot of data, and then they start tinkering with AI and ML. And these are all these tertiary services. And I think maybe if you could provide some more additional support there and really help them, things like SageMaker recognition, some of these guys, this is the first time they're using it. So I think if you could help us on that front, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that's good advice, and it gives me some homework to work with the teams as well. So Hian, I want to thank you for your time today. It's been great to catch up, talk about open space, talk about the work and the partnership we've been doing with your portfolio as well. Thanks a lot for coming.
You're very welcome.
So thanks so much for joining our session today. Please do complete the survey so that we've got your feedback so that we can make our events better in the future. Thank you once again.